Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Journey, a meeting of the minds. I'm your host, Kimberly Collins, also known as the Educated Natural. I'm the CEO and founder of 10 Marketing LLC. To find out more about 10 Marketing LLC, I invite you to visit our website, which is www.10marketingllc.com. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight, I am super excited. Now, I know you're probably saying, but Kim, you're super excited every single episode of your show. But of course I am, but tonight is very special. As you all know, I have a special guest joining me tonight, as you see right there on your screen, and you will hear in a few minutes. But tonight, she is so special to me because in the conversations that we have had, every single one of them, I have been empowered once we finished. So I am elated tonight to have her joining me tonight. Now, you're probably wondering, who is this lady we see on our screen and we're going to be hearing from later on? Well, she's none other than Mrs. Valerie Priester. Yes, I'm so happy to have her here tonight. But before she says anything, let me tell you just a little bit about who she is and what she brings to the table, okay? Miss Valerie Priester is a certified Christian life coach and a motivational speaker. She is passionate about coaching women to reach their full potential. Love that. Valerie has had years of success leading women to take a giant leap and transform into balanced, focused, and spiritually centered individuals. I love that too. Valerie's coaching style is a style that I absolutely love because she used a T word to describe it. That word is transformative. Love that. She addresses what holds most women back. So if you're listening to this and you're watching us live, please, if you know a woman out there that needs to hear from her, go ahead, tweet it out, Facebook it out, because she is about to empower you beyond your belief. Trust me. Valerie has endured many obstacles, as many of us have throughout her life. A few of these obstacles that I will mention are unhealthy relationships. Can you relate to that? She's also endured 2 divorces, failed businesses, as well as years of struggling as a single parent. So if you know a single parent, get them on the air right now and watch this show. These life experiences, however, did not hold her back or stop her as she started to excel along her journey. They actually empowered her. And they empowered her by allowing her to see something that I absolutely love when people discover in their own selves. And Valerie was able to see that she was created to live a victorious life. So without further ado, help me welcome to the journey, a meeting of the minds, none other than Mrs. Valerie Priester. Hi!
Thank you, Kimberly.
Now, I only gave the audience just a little bit about you, but I want you right now to tell them the rest of your story.
Ooh, the rest of my story. Okay. I am this little girl from Florida, little Southern belle, right? Who, as Kimberly said, have gone through challenges in my life and overcome those challenges. And people call me the mindset lady because I know and I believe that everything starts right here. Yes. Everything starts in our minds. So I'm the one that can help you get out of your head and step into your greatness because we were all created for greatness. Yes. And that's what I'm passionate about. I enjoy helping women really to live their full potential, create the life that you most desire, not just exist, but live. Because that's what, the Bible tells us that Jesus came so that we may have life and have it more abundantly. So not just exist, but live. That's what I do.
I love that. Now, as you all know, I always do my research on my featured guest every time someone sits in the seat here on the journey, a meeting of the minds. Now, here is something that I absolutely loved about what Miss Priester brings to the table. Are you ready? She looks for a particular type of woman. And you're probably wondering, what type of woman is that? She loves to work with purpose-driven women. Now, please, Valerie, break that down for us. What is a purpose-driven woman?
A purpose-driven woman is one who You may not have identified your actual purpose, but you know from a feeling deep within you that there's more to this thing called life than what you're experiencing. And so purpose driven means that you're now ready to take the bull by the horns and say, you know what, show me what that is. Show me what my purpose is. And even if you have discovered your purpose, you are ready to walk into that purpose, step into your authentic self, and be who God called you to be who God created you to be. That's a purpose-driven woman, one who is non-negotiable with what she's doing with her life and making sure that she's using her life to impact others, not just for herself, but to impact others as well. That's purpose-driven.
Love that. Love that. Now that we're talking about purpose, Valerie, tell us a little bit about your purpose. When did you discover exactly what it was and how you were going to accomplish such a huge task as purpose is?
Ooh. I discovered because when I was working on my last corporate America job, we actually started a Bible study on the job. And we would have Bible study on Wednesdays, as a matter of fact, at noon. And I actually, no matter what I get involved in, I usually end up being the leader. And so they actually ended up appointing me the leader. And so we started this Bible study. And there were 5 women that worked with me that actually came to me and said, you know, I want more. I want more of a spiritual connection. I want more of a connection with God. I want to understand more what my purpose is. And I started working with these women. And through working with them and watching their lives change, you know, each of them were like, do you realize you have a gift for this? You really have a gift. And you know how it is when you are operating in your gift. Most of the time, we just kind of say, no big deal. No big deal. It's just who I am, right? And so working with these women and watching their lives totally change, I then began to pray about, okay, God, what is this? What is this, right? And the answer he gave me kind of scared me because he said, well, I did call you to minister. Ooh. And that scared me because, you know, we think of minister in terms of being in the pulpit, you know, someone that's leading a congregation. And I knew that you can't be talking to me. Right. So, but then he clearly helped me understand that even working with women and coaching women and helping to encourage them and uplift them is a ministry.
Right.
And so that's how I came into being a Christian life coach, because I decided, you know what, maybe there is something to this. And so I, you know, went for my certifications and started working in the business and creating my own business. And I started part-time and then I turned into full-time, and I've been loving it ever since.
Oh, I love that. I love that story. I love that story because so many people, like you said, when God reveals something to you, we want to push it off or we want to ignore it. Like for me, I can say I knew it was there, but it scared me just a little bit.
Oh, it is scary.
Yes, because sometimes that purpose thing, you're like, ooh, minister. Like you said, that word minister. You mean I have to come out of my comfort zone and actually get out there and talk to people and really? And a lot of people are so afraid to take that leap. So I do commend you for taking that leap and walking in your purpose and empowering people like me, so many women around the world. So to you, I take my hat off. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, I did do a little bit more digging into you. And I found out that you love inner peace.
Ooh.
Now, I must ask you to help the people that are listening and watching us. How can a person, man or woman, how can they find inner peace in a world that may be full of chaos and turmoil? A lot of people are there right now. They're going through all sorts of obstacles. And tonight we're talking about ascending to our level, our cruising level up there, our cruising altitude. So how can they do that in this day and age? What's your advice?
Inner peace is something that we all have, right? Because the Bible even tells us that he gave us peace.
Yes.
And so the inner peace, in order for you to find the inner peace, we've got to get in a place where we're quiet. We've got to get in a place where we sit still long enough to hear that inner voice that is within us, the one that guides and leads us and gives us that peace that passes all understanding. A lot of times we're trying to find our inner peace and we're trying to find it on all of these external places. All of the things that are going on around us. Well, there's no peace in that. No. It all starts with what is within. And so when you take the time and you get quiet and you sit and you find that quiet place and you get in touch and connect it with the one source that gives you the peace, then you can have the internal peace. You can find your internal peace.
Amazing. Now, tonight's segment was actually titled by Miss Priester herself. Now, what brought you to this title, and what is it about tonight's segment you really want people to grasp onto?
This title actually came to me. I was on a flight coming back from a conference a couple of weeks ago. And as I was on the flight, I was thinking about how, when you're on a flight, and I want everybody to think about when you're on a flight and the plane takes off, right? And it ascends. And so as it was ascending, what came into my spirit is ascending to your cruising altitude. So I was like, okay, Lord, what is that? And what he gave me was the understanding of knowing that as we ascend on this journey, as we ascend to our cruising altitude, there's a lot of things that are going to happen in that ascending, right? And so if you've ever flown on a plane, there's times when the ascend may be a bit rocky. Mm-hmm. Right? There may be some turbulence. There may be some things going on in the ascend process. Yes. And what God wanted me to actually tell people and help them understand is that even the turbulence have purpose. Yes. Even the turbulence are there to give you something. And so that's where this topic came from.
Amazing. I love that analogy, because so many people during the turbulent times of their life is when they want to jump off. Shall we say, jump off the plane. Mm-hmm. But what we don't realize is that if you got a good pilot, and for me, that's God. If you got a good pilot that knows how to control that plane during those turbulent times and guide you and get you to your cruising altitude, the rockiness, the chaos, the storms won't matter, because you understand who's driving or flying your plane. So I absolutely love how God gave that to you tonight, because there are so many women that are at that rocky point. There are so many women losing focus or putting their focus on the wrong things because they're trying to avoid those turmoil times. But what we really need to understand, it is during that time is when I can personally say is when I found the strength in my own wings. Because something happens when you are ascending to your cruising altitude. Your wings, something you probably never used in your entire life, they catch the wind. And when you catch the wind, if you are a true eagle, when your wings catch the wind, you're going to lift off and you're going to go to greater and higher heights. And that's your cruising altitude. But here, Valerie, here's something I want you to do. I want to break this down a little bit. What happens, should I say, during that cruising altitude point? What will we see?
Here's what you're going to see. And this is what I wanted to share with the audience tonight, giving you 3 simple ways to really ascend with grace and ease, right? Because it's all about how you respond to everything that's happening in your life. So there's 3 things that you need to really be aware of when you're ascending to that cruising altitude and the process that you're going through as you're going to that cruising altitude. The first thing is that you must know your destination.
Yes.
You gotta know your destination, right? It's not enough for you to say, I want to go to California. Well, California has so many different cities within it. Yes. Where in California do you want to go, right? It's not enough for you to say that, I want to have a lot of money. What is the real goal, right? What is the money for? Right. What is your purpose for it? And it's not enough for you to say, I want to be married. Well, what do you want to be married to? Do you want just any man? Do you want just any woman, right? You got to make sure that you know your destination. That's so very key. Number 2, you have to understand the turbulence, just like we talked about. Understand the turbulence, because on the ascend, as you're ascending to your cruising altitude, you're going to hit some turbulence. And you got to understand what the turbulence actually represents. The turbulence can represent building your faith muscles. Yes. But see, unless something happens in your life where you really have to rely on faith, you're not building those muscles. So it can be building your faith muscles. It can be challenging you to see, what is it that you really believe? Who is it that you really trust?
Yes.
Right? Turbulence can also be character building moments. See, in order for you to get to your cruising altitude, that place where God is trying to take you, there's some things about our character that has to change. There's some things about our character that has to shift. We got to shed some things in our character. So it's building your character as well. And then here's a big one, forgiveness. There's things that you got to forgive. There's some people you got to forgive, including yourself.
Yes.
Right. There are some decisions. There's some things that you have made in life that may not have been the best decision, right? They may not have worked out the way that you expected them to work out, but you made the decision with the knowledge that you had at that time. And you got to understand that and recognize that, okay, if it didn't work out, well, I got to forgive myself and I got to move forward. Those are things that get caught up in the turbulence. Then there's things like life-defining moments, lessons, right? I like to tell people all the time, until you get the lesson, it's going to come back.
Yes.
It's going to come back again and again and again and again. And those are life-defining lessons. So when you actually understand that there's something that you must learn about yourself, right? About your circumstances, about those around you. There's a lot of things that you have to learn that's going on in the midst of the turbulence, right? And so like you said, a lot of times we want to avoid the turbulence.
Yes.
So you know how when you're on the plane, if it starts to storm and rain and thunder, the captain will do what he can to get you either above the storm or below the storm so the ride gets a little bit easier, right? And so a lot of times we want to totally avoid the turbulence, but you can't totally avoid all turbulence. Some of the turbulence you got to go through.
Yes.
There's no other way to get to the point where you overcome or conquer the turbulence except to go through it. So that's what the turbulence is all about. All right. And here's what I wanted to say too.
Yes.
Before you get to the cruising altitude, I want you to remember that when you're on the plane, remember they say, I think it's right about 10,000 feet that you get to. And they tell you that now you're free to turn on approved portable devices.
Mm-hmm.
Approved portable devices. I want you to catch that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now they tell you it's time because see, not all devices are approved.
Watch out now.
And so I'm equating those devices to messages, the things that you're hearing, the things that you allow into your hearing and your eye gate, what you're seeing. Not all messages are approved. So when you get to that 10,000 feet level, they tell you it's now you're free to turn on approved portable devices. And the reason they do this is because some devices on a plane can interfere with the conversation, with the communication and the navigation of the plane.
Right.
Right. Because of how they emit this electric magnet transmission that they emit, and it can interfere with the plane. So when I say to you, approved portable devices, approved messages, if you're getting the wrong messages and you're on the wrong frequency, it can interfere with your communication with your source, with God. It can interfere with your path to your destiny because these are not approved devices, right? And that's right about the 10,000 feet level that they tell you. That's when you can really understand that you need to be tuned in to the right source. You need to be tuned in to the right messages coming in so that it can guide you through your process. It can guide you through the turbulence. It can get you to the cruising altitude. But here's another thing. There's something else that they tell you you can't do at 10,000 feet. They tell you that you're not free to move about the cabin yet. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that you got to be still. Right? Remember I said at the very beginning, you asked me, how do you get that inner peace? At this point, at 10,000 feet, you got to be still. You can't get up and move around yet. And while you're in the stillness is when you're able to hear from your connection. You're able to hear from the one source that's going to feed you the direction and the guidance that you need to get through the turbulence. Yes. That's before the cruising altitude. That's why I was so excited about this message. I'm like, oh, Lord, you're giving this to me, right? Yes. You're giving this to me. Yes, yes. And so then as you continue to cruise and you continue to elevate to that cruising altitude, when you get to the cruising altitude, point number 3 is you got to maximize the cruising altitude. And what does that mean? That means that you have to make sure that you are tuned into the right connection. You have to make sure that by this time you got your tuner just right. That's right. Because see, you've come through the turbulence. And when you come through the turbulence, when you're fully connected, now your tuner is just right at cruising altitude. This is the time when they tell you now you're free to move about the cabin. You can be free to move about the cabin now. You can be free to move into your purpose, into your destiny now, because you have guidance and direction from the one source. And when you get that clear guidance and direction, you now know how to take action and move to your destiny. So you maximize your cruising altitude.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it was deep. It was deep. I was like, okay, Lord, I get it. You know, because there, like you said, there's so many women that are going through something. There's so many women that are struggling with things in their life. And what we have to understand and know is that when we stay tuned in to the right connection, when we stay tuned in to the right frequency, and we don't take our eyes off him, just like when Peter was walking on the water, he took his eyes off of Jesus and he began to sink, right? Because you took your eyes off of that which is leading and guiding you to your destiny, that which is leading and guiding you through the turbulence that you're going through. You got to keep your eyes focused. And not only your eyes, you got to keep your mind in the right place. It's all about your mindset. What are you thinking? What are you focused on? Because if you're not focused on the right things, if you're focused on the wrong things, if you're focused on the negative, if you're focused on the circumstances and the situations that you're dealing with, the challenges that you're dealing with, they're growing. They're growing and you're creating more of them. And what God wants you to do is keep your eyes focused on him. Keep your eyes focused on the connection that you have that's feeding you the direction. Right? That's your GPS.
Yeah.
It's helping you to get to where you need to get to, right? And not allowing the external things that are on the wrong frequency to interfere with the path that God has already set for you, to interfere with, you know, where he's trying to take you to. Because see, when you get to this cruising altitude, there's a whole different level of turbulence you're going to have to deal with. It may be smooth for a minute, but there's going to be some more turbulence. And they're going to be on a different level. And you got to understand that if you don't have that right connection, if you don't have that right GPS and guidance that you're listening to, right, this cruising altitude can be very, very rocky. Yes. That's what he gave me.
Amazing. Everybody take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Because
take a deep breath.
He did a sermon.
Yeah, well, he gave it to me that way.
Somebody passed it. He did a sermon.
Yes.
He said so much. And now I see why they said, when your sister said mindset. Yes, ma'am, mindset. Because if you didn't get anything out of that, something's really wrong with your mind.
I'm telling you.
You need mental justice. Yes. Because everything she said, everything she described is right on time, and it's a right now word. And here is what I got. When you are in your chaotic state, no matter male or female, wherever you are, you're in a chaotic state right now. You have to understand that no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, that you cannot allow it to impact your mind. You have to keep your mind and your eyes on the prize.
That's right.
You have to trust, you have to believe that that pilot is going to do everything within his or her power to keep you safe and get you to your destination. You have to have faith on this level. At this cruising altitude, on your way there, you're going to have faith. And I know Valerie and myself can both agree that a lot of the times when we were in those chaotic states and we were on our ascension up to higher, we had to endure some things. We had to depend on our faith. Valerie shared with me off camera that around her neck, on her necklace, is a mustard seed. And if you ever read your Bible, you know what the Bible says about mustard seed.
That's right.
All you need when it comes to your faith, as you're going towards the top level, as you're ascending, as you're going up to your cruising altitude, wherever God has destined that to be, all you need is just a little bit of faith to get you through it. So don't worry, don't waver, don't get weary during those rocky times. Trust and believe that your pilot, make sure you know who your pilot is. Make sure you know who he is or she is, where they are taking you. Because if you are sitting there being driven or flown by the wrong pilot, you're going to end up in the wrong destination. But I'm going to leave that for another one. I'm going to leave that for another show. You have to come back. You're going to have to come back for that one. But Valerie, now is the time in the show where I love to let you speak from the heart based on these 5 fill-in-the-blank questions that I have.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I like to call this section Fearless 5.
Okay.
Here's why. Fearless 5, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. And whatever God lays upon your heart, I want you to answer them wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Number 1, my ultimate advice for women is?
My ultimate advice for women is to get in touch with who you really are. Because when you get in touch with who you really are, everything else in your life will fall into place. You cannot operate in your greatest potential, in the greatness and the purpose that God has put in you if you don't know who you are. You can't operate at that level. So it's just like someone tells you, you're Bill Gates' child, but you don't accept that. You don't know that that's who you are. And so here you are a child of a millionaire, but you don't know it. You don't know it. And so if you don't know who God has created you to be, it's hard to do anything else in life. You got to know the power that you have within you. You got to know it, that it's the same power that raised Jesus from the dead that you walk around with inside of you, that you can create, you can be, you can do, and you can have anything. So the one thing that I would tell you is get in touch with who you really are.
Yes, yes, yes. Amazing. One thing in life I'd like to accomplish would be?
Ooh, one thing in life that I would like to accomplish is definitely I want to impact 1 million women. I want to impact their lives so much so that not only do they know who they are, but they take that and they walk in their full authority, right? They don't play with this thing anymore. Right. They don't play small anymore. They take it and they walk in their true authority, and they know deep within their heart that they can do, be, or have whatever it is that they want, and that they go on and they impact the lives of others. Yeah. That's my dream.
My legacy will be?
My legacy will be, one of the things that I really want to make sure that I leave, not only for other women, but for my children, my grandchildren, right? I'm actually getting ready to have a great grandchild, but for them, I want to leave the legacy of them knowing that they can do anything. Yes. Right? The legacy of knowing that I set a pace and I set a model for them, that they too can come along and they can follow and they can understand that I can do whatever it is I want to do. I watched my grandmother and my mother at the age of 56, 57, 58, doing the thing that God had called her to do. I want them to have that same knowledge and boldness, yes, courage to do it.
Amazing. God is?
God is. I think those 2 words are it. He just is, right? There is nothing that he's not.
Right.
There is nothing that we see in this earth, in this physical realm, that he's not, right? The greatest thing, of course, is he's love. That's the greatest thing. In all of the stuff that goes on in the world, when you hear people who have had like near-death experiences, the one thing they come back and say is, all I felt was an abundance of love. Right. That's God. I listened to Tracy Morgan do his interview on Oprah last week, and he talked about all he remembers feeling is an abundance of love. That's God.
Yes, yes.
That's God. And we can't exclude him from anything, right? A lot of people get hung up on, when I say universe, or when I say the source, or when I, call it some other name. But what we have to understand is he's so vast, there is no name.
Right.
Because he's everything. You can't take him from anything. So short answer, he's everything.
Absolutely, I agree.
Everything.
Last question. I am?
Oh, I am powerful.
Amen.
I am knowledgeable.
Amen.
I am created for greatness.
Yes.
I am confident, right? I am this powerful being that has the gift and the talent and the ability to impact lives, many lives. lives,
Yes.
so that they can walk into their full purpose. I am who God created me to be.
Amen. Amen. Yes, you are. Thank you for answering all of my fearless 5 questions.
Thank you.
Now, before we get ready to close out, I like to let my special guests have a personal one-on-one moment with the audience. So whatever you would like to say to them, please, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. So I talked to you guys about ascending to your cruising altitude. So the thing that I want to leave with you, you know how right now we're going through the presidential elections and politics, and, you know, people are running for office and all of this. You know how they run the commercials and they say at the end of the commercial, this has been approved by Hillary Clinton, or this has been approved by Donald Trump, right? I want to let you know that my message to you tonight about ascending to your cruising altitude, about making sure that you keep your mind focused on the place that you need to go, the prize, where you're trying to get to, and making sure that you have the right connection, you're on the right frequency, right? That message of understanding how to get through the turbulence to arrive at your cruising altitude, I want you to know that that message is approved by Valerie Priester and Victorious Life Coaching. Right? I want you to understand that I am here to pour into you to help you know that there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't be, and there's nothing you cannot have. Nothing. But it all starts right here.
Yes.
It all starts in your mind. When you start to think and understand and know who you are, and you hold on to that with truth, right? And with boldness and with courage, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't do. I believe in you. I know that there's nothing you can't do. And I just want you to know that I am here to help you. If you want to reach out to me, I love connecting with people. So I give that open opportunity to you, but know that this message is approved by Valerie Priester and Victorious Life Coaching.
Amen. Also followed up by Kimberly Collins, the Educated Natural and
There you go.
yes, absolutely. Now, please tell everyone how they can connect with you, how they can get in touch with you, how they can work with you. Please.
Okay. You can reach me at either my Facebook page is Victorious Life Coaching. Of course, my website is victoriouslifecoaching.com. You can reach out to me for a free 30-minute session at bit.ly/30-minute session 16, right? And then I also have a 6-week program titled Mindset Mastery, because remember, everything starts here. Right. Mindset Mastery 101, 6 weeks to shift your mindset and change your life. You can find out all about that at bit.ly/Mindset Mastery 101.
All right, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed tonight's session here on the Journey of Meeting of the Minds with my special guest, Mrs. Valerie Priester. She's already told you how to connect with her. Please reach out to her. If you know that you are in a place where it's time for you to have that mindset shift, you need someone that's down to earth, someone that doesn't mind calling on the man upstairs, God himself. Please reach out to her. Do not delay. Please reach out to her and her team. Trust me, you all know I only bring the best of the best here on the Journey of Meeting of the Minds. And as you can see, she is one of the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending a little time here with me. If anyone has any questions before we wrap this thing up for tonight, please post your questions. You have a few moments here. She's all yours. If you have something you want to say to her, give her props, please take that moment now. In the meantime, Valerie, I want to thank you from my heart to yours. And anytime you want to come back on the show and share it with me, the door is always open here for you.
Thank you, Kimberly. I have so enjoyed this. And as you say, I always enjoy our conversations. Yes. You know, it's something about when like minds get together. The Bible says iron sharpens iron. Yes. So I have appreciate the opportunity to be here in your presence, right? And on your platform. I so thank you for that. I always enjoy when I have an opportunity to really share my heart and to share what I stand for and what I believe. So I thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have inspired and impacted me. I know you've inspired and impacted our audience. And most of all, I know God is pleased. So that, yes. Those of you that are watching us, if you would like to be my featured guest here on the show, reach out to me. You can contact me via my website at www.10marketingllc.com. Just click on the tab where it says Talk Show. Scroll down just a little bit under the latest video, and you will actually see where you can become our featured guest. We also have, for business people out there, we have opportunities for you to run your commercials during the show as well. So if you have a business and you would like to do a commercial, the information about the commercial is always there as well. So please reach out to me, reach out to my special guest, Miss Valerie Priester. And until the next time we meet here on the journey of meeting of the minds, I hope you stay blessed, continue to be a blessing to others, and every single moment of every single day, we hope you enjoy your journey. Until the next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.